There was a time when medicine was predictable. Symptom, pill, sleep. That's how it was for centuries. Yes, we still treat diseases, but medicine is changing. It no longer fights the consequences. It dives into the code, edits genes, reprograms cells, and trains neural networks to diagnose better than doctors. This is no longer treatment. This is an update of the human body. CRISPR edits DNA and removes hereditary diseases. Bioprinters print organs directly from a patient's own cells. Nanorobots deliver drugs precisely to their target, one cell out of billions. Senolytics clean the body from zombie cells, giving tissues a second breath. And the brain connects to interfaces that help to see, move, remember. Medicine no longer just heals, it programs life. Subscribe, because what comes next won't just be interesting, it'll be unbelievable. How about printing yourself a heart? Bioprinting of organs is a technology where 3D printers use living cells instead of plastic or metal, creating tissues and even entire body parts. In 2019, scientists from Tel Aviv University printed the world's first miniature heart with chambers and blood vessels, using the patient's own cells. In 2022, the American company United Therapeutics printed and transplanted airways into animals. The tissues not only survived, they began to function. In 2023, Australian researchers printed kidney tissue that already filters waste in lab tests. It's not a full kidney yet, but it's a proven step toward artificial organs. According to Market Data Forecast, by 2030, the global bioprinting market will exceed $6 billion. What does that mean? In the future, the shortage of organs will end. Transplants will no longer depend on donors. Minimal risk of rejection, because organs are printed from the patient's own cells. Faster medicine, from request to surgery, could take just a few weeks. Today we order food through an app. Tomorrow we'll order a liver, kidneys, or even a heart. The question isn't when will it become real. The question is who'll be the first to add an organ to their cart. What if I told you that in a couple of decades your body will produce medicine on its own? And yes, it sounds like a cheat code for biology. Scientists are already developing molecular nanofactories, tiny biomechanisms or genetically modified cells capable of synthesizing the necessary substances right inside the human body. Instead of a course of pills, an implant or living cells that activate on command and release a drug, insulin, enzymes, or therapeutic proteins. Here are real examples. In 2022, researchers created an implant made of living cells that produces interleukin-2, a signaling protein that enhances the immune response against cancer cells, and in experiments on mice, it destroyed tumors. Now the method is being prepared for human trials. ETH Zurich showed that medicine can be packaged into microcapsules that only activate under specific conditions, for example, temperature or environment, releasing the drug precisely when needed. At Harvard's Weiss Institute, scientists are testing bacterial biofactories that live in the gut and secrete anti-inflammatory substances. Such systems are now being tested in animals and early clinical studies. The main challenges are the immune response and implant longevity, but the technology has already proven its feasibility in the lab and is considered one of the key frontiers of biomedicine, which means that in the near future, some chronic diseases may no longer require daily treatment. The body itself will synthesize the molecules it needs. And once the body learns to produce medicine on its own, the next step is delivery. The future of medicine is an army of microscopic robots in your bloodstream. Back in 2023, scientists in California created a prototype of magnetically controlled nanobots that delivered drugs directly into tumors in mice, without harming healthy cells. In 2024, the first clinical results were published. Magnetic nanoparticles were successfully used for targeted drug delivery in cancer patients. Today, these microrobots move under the guidance of magnetic fields, but the goal is to make them autonomous, able to locate damaged cells and heal them on the spot. Tomorrow, your veins will carry not only red blood cells, but also microrobots. Subscribe if you want to know what happens when the body stops being just a body, because soon it will be a factory. And a blind person will see again, not a miracle, neurohacking. And it's no longer science fiction. It's a real Neuralink plan for the coming years. Elon Musk's company is developing a project under the codename Blindsight, a neuro interface implanted directly into the visual cortex. It's already been granted the breakthrough device status by US regulators, which means a fast track for human trials. Musk announced, The goal is to begin the first operations on humans in 2026, yes, on completely blind patients. The main task? To restore at least basic vision, shapes, motion, text. In animal experiments, similar implants already allowed brains to recognize simple forms. But let's be honest, mass therapy isn't coming tomorrow. Most likely in the 2030s. Right now, it's only the first steps. The question is, are you ready to live in a world where vision can be downloaded again, like a software update for your brain? Heard of smart tattoos? Tattoos are no longer about beauty. They're about control and about your skin turning into a gadget. Scientists are already creating electronic smart tattoos, micro-thin film-like circuits that stick directly onto the skin. This isn't science fiction. The University of Texas at Austin and the company MC10 are already testing such sensors. They read temperature, pulse, and blood oxygen levels. Soon, blood pressure, glucose, and even stress markers. The magic is in flexibility. They're soft, elastic, and follow every curve of your skin. There are already prototypes that can send data to a doctor online, which means that health on your wrist is about to turn into health on your skin. Smart tattoos from MC10 are already used in sports medicine, and studies confirmed they can provide data even more accurately than fitness bracelets. And biodegradable versions are already being developed, so you'll never have to take them off. Today, tattoos are a symbol of freedom. Tomorrow, they'll be your medical passport, right on your skin. Forget the times when one pill fit everyone. The future of medicine is treatment tailored to your personal genetic code. Not some abstract cure-all, but therapy designed specifically for your DNA. In 2017, the US approved the first therapy based on a patient's own cells. By 2025, the market for so-called personalized medicine is expected to reach hundreds of billions of dollars, and the numbers keep growing. The principle is simple but revolutionary. Scientists read your genetic code, find weak points or inherited mutations, and design treatments specifically for them. And in June 2025, a study appeared that could overturn everything we know about cholesterol drugs. Scientists demonstrated that a single gene-based procedure could dramatically lower bad cholesterol in the blood, with no pills, no diets, no reminders. The company Verve was the first to use a technology that reprograms liver cells so they no longer overproduce cholesterol. The result, patients' levels of harmful fats in the blood dropped by almost half and stayed low for months after just one procedure. One injection instead of a lifetime on statins. If the effect holds, it could mark the end of daily cholesterol pills. Medicine is becoming less like pharma and more like human engineering. It no longer treats symptoms, it rewrites the code that makes the body work. Why does it matter? Because the same drug affects people differently. What helps one person may be useless or even dangerous for another. Because many cancers and genetic diseases are rooted in DNA. Because targeted therapy hits the source, not the whole system. But here's the tough question. If this kind of treatment costs hundreds of thousands of dollars, who will actually get it? Will it be a revolution for everyone? Or just elite medicine for those who can pay? The future of our body has already begun. Exoskeletons are external suits with sensors and motors that amplify human movement. Today, they help paralyzed people stand up again. Tomorrow, they'll turn workers and soldiers into superhumans. Rewalk Robotics makes exoskeletons for people with spinal injuries, giving those confined to wheelchairs the chance to walk again. In the US, the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, DARPA, funds military exoskeletons that boost soldiers' strength and endurance. In Japan, factories already use exoskeletons, so workers can lift heavy loads without damaging their backs. These technologies restore mobility to patients, reduce workplace injuries, and create a new class of humans with mechanical body enhancement. You know what's considered one of the most promising industries in the world right now? No, not AI. No, not the metaverse. Anti-aging. Seriously, investors are pouring billions into keeping you from aging. The longevity industry is the new gold rush. The goal is simple: to extend youth, keep the body in shape, and the mind in the game. Google has invested hundreds of millions into Calico, a project studying the biology of aging and developing ways to slow it down and extend healthy life. Altos Labs is researching cellular reprogramming to rejuvenate tissues and repair age-related damage. In Japan, vaccines are already being tested, so far only on animals, that train the immune system to clean the body from worn-out cells. Old or senescent cells are those that have stopped dividing but refuse to die. They accumulate with age, release inflammatory molecules, damage tissues, and interfere with normal cells. Because of them, skin loses elasticity, wrinkles appear, blood vessels age, and organs begin to stall. That's why scientists are trying to teach the body to get rid of this cellular waste. In the US, the first clinical trials of senolytics are underway, drugs that remove this junk and restart tissue regeneration. In mice, it already works. Heart, muscles, skin all began to function better. In humans, it's too early to say, but the direction is gaining momentum. People aren't searching for an elixir of immortality anymore. They're looking for a pause button to freeze time, erase biological age, live longer, work longer, look younger. The moment you can say, stop, leave me like this for a few more decades. However, it's important to understand this is still research, not miracle injections. Most results so far have been achieved in animals, not humans. The risks are huge. Even if the drugs work, their safety for humans isn't yet proven. The technology is emerging, but not yet mainstream. Aging hasn't been cancelled, but science is taking it seriously and trying to turn back time. Got a mouse? You won't need it soon. You'll click with your mind. We're used to controlling things with our fingers, but the future is about controlling with intention. In 2021, Neuralink showed a monkey playing Pong with its mind. No joystick, just the brain and a neural network. A neurointerface reads brain activity, decodes it, and turns it into commands. You think about moving your hand, the cursor moves. Even today, paralyzed people can write, move robotic arms, and even send tweets by thought alone. Artificial intelligence is learning to interpret brain signals and translate them into words and actions. The brain is no longer a private zone, it's an interface. You thought you were the user of the gadget? Soon, the gadget will be the user of you. Diseases are being erased, algorithms remain. Welcome to the new medicine, where you're not treated, you're edited. Hit like if you're ready for an update. Subscribe if you don't want to be rewritten without permission. Yours, Pixel Blonde.